All right. Welcome back to the Football Convention, episode 6. This week's episode is actually an opinion-based video on a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for some time now. We're going to be talking about youngsters within the last 5 years, some pretty prominent ones, and how their careers have panned out. We're going to be going into depth as to how we feel they're going to do for the remainder of their career, and also we're going to be talking about who we think personally are going to be the next top 3. Obviously, with me today, I'm Nick. I haven't been on the channel in a while, but I'm back. I've got Amaya with me on the left, and I've got Chethan with me as well. How's it going, boys? You guys doing good today? You guys ready?
Yeah. Yep, I am. What about you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm pretty excited for this. I've been wanting to do this for a while, ever since we started the channel. But getting into things here, big man that I've been wanting to talk about is Martin Odegaard. All right, as we all know, Norwegian star kid, attracted a lot of buzz a few years ago when Real Madrid signed him up. And I mean, I'm going to ask you, what do you think? What's your first? What do you think about when you first think about Martin Odegaard?
Well, obviously, the first thing that hits your mind is how he was so highly paid at such a young age when he first joined Real Madrid, and being the youngest player to ever make an appearance for Real Madrid, that puts some real pressure on you, man. And but yeah, I think this season he's been doing really well, and well, when he first signed, he wasn't that promising. He made a few appearances for Real Madrid, his B team, that Real Madrid Castilla, but he couldn't really, make much of an impact. So he went out on loan to Hennervins, and I think that is where his career, I thought, would, get a little bit derailed. But no, he's done well, and then he went on loan to Vitesse, of course. Vitesse being our loan army's, hub. And he did well there, and now he's at Real Sociedad. He's had a great start to the season. I can see so many Real Madrid fans coming up and telling me that he should probably be a part of the squad next season. And he's getting praise from many rival fans as well. And in fact, I was just looking up a stat called short assist.
That's all true. That's I was actually going to talk about that. I was going to talk about how he's having a fantastic season. I think this season is really where his maturity over the last few years really helped him build up to the player he is today. Chethan, any closing thoughts on Odegaard? Any personal thoughts on Odegaard?
I think personally he should, contribute more defensively, because offensively he's a great player. He's a Messi-like player, but he doesn't track back when the team loses the ball and all that. So I think
I guess that's a very common characteristic that we've noticed about him over the years. I personally think I'm worried that his career is going to plateau, in the sense that he's just going to stay at this level as like a loanee for Real Madrid. I really want him to break into the first squad, but we'll see how things go.
I could just add a little bit. I was just looking up stats, and there's a particular stat called short assists, where where the pass right before someone takes a shot, and Odegaard actually has the most in the top 5 leagues for someone aged 20 or under, and second is obviously Mason Mount, but that's another topic. But that's a huge improvement for him, and he's getting into the squad. He's doing well.
Next guy that I really want to talk about, not for long, but one guy that I was really excited about when he first came out was Adnan Januzaj. As a United player, when I remember being 14 years old and this guy like absolutely breaking onto the field, and then his career just absolutely derailed. And I'm still whenever I look at him now, I'm like, I'm so surprised that he's still, like, this is my opinion, I'm so surprised that Belgium is picking him to represent for the national team. And it's because I don't really hear much about him anymore, and the fact that he's playing for his national team is honestly surprising. Chethan, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think playing for Sir Alex is last starting 11. He should have made a lot of progress in United, but I think it's more character based to him, because he's always had off-field antiques, So
yeah, absolutely, definitely. Yeah. He's one of those players. He's one of those players that I think
he's kind always of like, on the headline.
I think he's kind of like Lingard, in the sense that he's got a lot of stuff going off field, and that's like really impacting him. Like, I mean, we've seen Jesse Lingard's career go, like, at least as a player, he's not been good this season. As much as I like as much as he's my team's player, he's just been non-existent on the field, and hence got dropped from the England squad. Any closing thoughts on Januzaj? I don't know if you really care to add.
I mean, he still
Yeah,
has a
I
career
think
ahead of him now. So I think if he more like if he concentrates on football more and
Yeah,
like give up on the other stuff, maybe he can still resurrect a career.
yeah, man. I'm gonna give you 20 seconds. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree with both of you. He's still very young, and if he puts in a lot of hard work, he can still he still has a
Absolutely.
career he can make of himself. And the most important thing for him is, of course, not to stagnate at one place. Yeah, that's all I would like
Exactly.
to say.
I think with role models like Eden Hazard in the national team, who's obviously one of the best, like who's playing like in the best of like the leagues all over the world, I think he could definitely learn from them. Absolutely. Um, one that me and Amaya talked about was, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but Hashim Mastur. Um, I remember this guy like being like a big name, right? And just out of nowhere, his career just was like non-existent, like that. Like he was gone. It was like night and day for him, honestly. I really think you've got a lot to add for this.
Yes, I definitely do. I think I remember, scouting him on FIFA, and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he had incredible potential. And and then I started, seeing him in real life, and then he was the youngest ever to, make to be included in the match day squad for AC Milan, and he obviously chose to join Milan ahead of Juventus, Barcelona, and
exactly.
other
Yeah,
such
which I
top
think,
teams. And then it just never worked out for him. And he went on loan to Malaga, but his loan was cut short and sent back. And then he went on loan to Zwolle, I think, in Netherlands, and then
yeah,
his
yeah,
loan
he
was cut
did. Yeah, he had a
again.
lot of
And then
loan
he
moves.
finally joined a Greek side last season, and then they terminated his contract. And I don't know,
I
man.
remember
I
that.
think
I
he's
remember that
currently
headline.
training with Parma or something. I don't even think he's affiliated to a club anymore, and that's really sad because. But I think at that age, the amount of sponsorships that he got, the amount of money he got, I think that really spoiled his career.
I mean, it just happens. I feel like he's just one of those like if I'm being completely honest here, I don't see his career coming back up. And as harsh as that is, I just think it's the truth. And sometimes as they say, the truth sucks. But I don't want to say he sucks either. But yeah, yeah. Chetan, any thoughts on this guy particularly from your side or
Um,
no?
yeah, he didn't have a breakthrough season really, because he's not made any appearances. So I think
Yeah,
he's not had a chance to
that's
shine
one
yet.
way of
So
putting it.
yeah,
uh,
that's it.
all right, cool. No, that's definitely true. Uh, two players I want to talk about. Obviously, Ajax starlets last year moved on to Juventus and Barcelona respectively. Delight and De Jong. I'm going on like a positive turn now because man, these two are phenomenal. I've only been tracking them for a few years now, but man, the Delight at the back, he's 20 years old. He's he was captaining Ajax last year. Like come on, like and they went all the way to the semis, and like that's phenomenal. And De Jong as well. He's a rock in midfield, in my opinion. Like, and obviously from a team that requires a lot of midfield help. Maya, can you give me a little? Can you give me a little feedback on De Jong and Delight? What do you think, man?
I think they're both excellent players. I think Delete, really grabs the world's attention when Ajax reached the Europa League final. I think the season when United won under Jose Mourinho,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, that was their breakout season, and Delete was phenomenal. I remember watching that final and going, "This kid's gonna make it," and he did. And well, he's not exactly been great for Juventus this season. I
I
think
was
he
gonna say,
has
how do you think he's been doing this year? I was gonna say, how do you think he's been doing this year?
exactly. I don't think he's been up to the mark just yet. I think if it wasn't for the injuries that Juventus have had, I don't think he would have played the first team. But he is playing ahead of Rugani, Daniel Rugani, and he was quite severely linked to Chelsea last season under Maurizio Sarri. So we know that Sarri is a huge fan of Rugani, but
Oh yeah, that's
he
true.
still benched him for Delete. So I
Yeah,
think he's doing okay. A few mistakes here and there, but that's okay for his age, I think.
I think it's just teething issues. Honestly, I think it's because he's in a new atmosphere, new club, new country, new league. He's around all these great players and having to compete for a starting spot. I mean, it's a lot harder than Ajax, definitely. I say give it a season. I say with the delete especially, I'd say give it a season. I can assure you, like next year, he's going to be absolutely amazing. Like, De Jong, I I haven't been paying much attention to him this season, but I mean, I've always been a fan of his. Um, but yeah, any thoughts, Chetan? What do you think, man?
I think these two are like just starting their career, so maybe a few years, yeah, and they'll shall better, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. No,
yeah.
100%.
So
Moving
yeah,
on to a player that I've been excited to talk about all video long. He's a fellow American. He recently transferred to Chelsea from Borussia Dortmund, and I've been a huge fan of him since he was like 17 years old. Talking about Pulisic, my man. I'm gonna be completely honest. When I heard that he was linked heavily to Chelsea, I was not the happiest guy in the world. I've always dreamed to watch like an American in my era play for United. But at the same time, he's under Lampard, which I mean has been really, really like, which has been the complete opposite from what I thought. I thought he'd get a lot more playing time, and I heard that he's preferring Mount over Pulisic, and that was, I mean, for Pulisic's like level, that was very surprising for me. I mean, what do you think, man?
Of course, man. I've got his kit on as well, so
Ah,
I
yeah.
fingers crossed he plays more. But I don't know. I mean, well, I think the important thing about youngsters is grabbing the chance when you've got one. Right. I
Yeah,
think Pulisic did get off to a good start. He was amazing in preseason. He played a really good game in the Super Cup tie against
yeah, I
Liverpool.
remember that.
But yeah, since then he's just faded off, and he didn't even make the match day squad in the Champions League match against Lille. And I've voiced my opinion about that on
I
various
remember
platforms.
that. I was honestly like, I was thrown away. I was blown away because how can you not include a player of his like standards in a match day squad? Like even on the bench, like what's going on?
Exactly. And the worst part was Pedro made it ahead of him. Man,
Oh,
don't get me started on Pedro. That man's career is done. But it was really shocking. And I think that's because he was injured for a part of last season, I think. And, he stagnated again. That's another cause of concern. Jadon Sancho and Jacob Brun Larsen, both of them getting starting spots ahead of Pulisic. I think that's hampered his confidence. And Lampard's come out and said that he has to improve again. So that's hindering his confidence. But here's to hoping that he does get more playing time.
I think it's just Lampard being like, hey, just another American guy, just another Yankee. Just
Uh,
another Yankee. I can't give him a starting spot, but that's just
Actually,
my.
his start's not as bad as people are making it out to be. He already has 4 assists this season, even though he doesn't have a goal.
I'm telling you, I've always had faith in this kid. But Chetan, any thoughts on Pulisic in particular? What do you think, man?
and I think he needs a bit more playing time, because
Yeah.
uh, he's not getting enough, and I think Lampard's favoring the other English kids over him, maybe.
Wow, I wonder why. Anyway, anyone else you guys want to talk about before we start wrapping up? Do you have a favorite youngster you wanted to talk about in particular?
Yeah, I think having a City fan on here and not including Phil Foden would really
Oh,
be
oh,
uh,
how could you
odd.
not?
I mean,
He's
Phil Foden exceptional. Wait, I'm praising him, man. I'm praising him. He's
I know.
exceptional. I really love him. You've seen Pep Guardiola's press conferences. He said if there was one player who's not
Yeah,
sellable,
yeah.
who's not for sale in the City squad, that's Phil Foden. He's gone out and said that he's one of the most talented players he's ever seen. He's ever coached.
Oh, boys, I've supported United since I was 9 years old, but when I saw Phil Foden come out for City not too long ago, I was like, this kid is going to be something. I knew, and he's so young. He's younger than us, and I was blown away. I mean, it's true. I think it's the future of City and the future of England. It's just Pep has to play his cards right with this kid. He has to he's got to give him playing time, but he's also got to like hold him back when he gets a little too like I guess aware of himself. Um, Anyway, Chetan, I feel like you're the perfect guy to talk about this, my man. What do you think of Foden?
My
You
God,
score you
it's
squirmed a little
so
bit like
frustrating.
earlier.
It's frustrating really because you see with uh, I don't think Silva's doing pretty well this season, so I hope Foden would get a bit more play time, but I don't know what Pep's doing. He can give all the praise, but if he's not giving him the minutes, it's hopeless in the end, because this is the time he should be playing more of the games, but we only see him warming the bench nowadays, and uh, maybe if he doesn't get a lot of playing time this season, he might actually leave.
Yeah, there's a good chance.
Uh,
I think Pep has to really play his cards right with him. Like I mentioned, he's got to give him the playing time, or else he's going to lose a very, very good talent. Um, It was a great talk, boys, but we're gonna start wrapping up here. I'm gonna go with you, Chetan. Who do you think are like the three youngsters that are coming up who are gonna be big? What do you who do you think, Ben? Who are the three people that come to your mind?
Um, Vinicius Junior, Kylian Mbappe, and maybe Elite.
All right,
Yeah,
good stuff. I
these
see you
three.
got
Yeah, yeah,
defensive, attacking, and all
yeah.
right. I mean, I'm gonna. What do you think, my man?
Well, the first has obviously got to be Mbappe. I think you
Yeah,
can't write him off. He's been fantastic. The second, well, call me biased, but I'm going for the attacking players sort of. So the second has to be Joao Felix. I think I'm surprised that
respect.
Chetan didn't include him. To be fair, he hasn't had a great start, but I think he will soon
Oh,
get
100%,
adjusted.
absolutely.
And the third player is, of course, Jadon Sancho, and another Englishman, fantastic and doing a great job at Dortmund. And really hope he comes to Chelsea.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. United's gonna give him a tough fight. For me, it has to be. I voiced this earlier. Delit has been. I was heartbroken when he didn't join United. I was heartbroken
Hey,
with
good
all the
thing.
speculation. With all the speculation, I was heartbroken. Um, Another one that and call me. I might be biased here, but I'm a little worried for this kid, Mason Greenwood. We didn't talk about him. He's a young striker, and I'm cautious about Mason Greenwood. I want him to do well, but at the same time, he hasn't proved it to me yet. And so I feel like give him another season, and he should even out. And obviously, common across the board, Kylian Mbappe. You can't hate on this kid. Like you cannot hate on this kid. I tried to. I was very skeptical of him at the start, but man, this kid puts in the work. This kid really, really puts in the work. Yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna be phenomenal. Obviously, fingers crossed. Obviously, injuries don't set him back because recently he pulled out of the French squad due to injuries. But having said that, I think this has been a great video, boys. Thanks for obviously joining me and being part of this. I'm super glad we got to talk about this. To all our viewers out there, please do like and subscribe. We're going to be putting out videos a little more frequently, I'd like to say. We're going to try, at least. Amanda Chathan, thanks for a great day. Thanks for your time, boys. I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.